Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to the empowered harmonizers. And I want to zoom in and focus in today on a great viewer question. And that was to really understand a specific type of personality that is really promotion oriented. Very narcissistic, meaning that they have a public persona that is opposite to how they conduct themselves behind the scenes. So they're always putting on a show, always living on a stage, always putting on a promotion face. And these are the types of people who are doing just that. In fact, oftentimes when we look at the promotion community or the people who are always trying to be the PR people, one thing you will find is that they want to always be concerned with the outward appearance first, and anything that has to do with values, integrity, things really working is secondary. So how things are received or what is told, oftentimes if you will get the deal, even if it doesn't work, even if this program doesn't work or this whatever it is that they're promoting is not of value or merit, they're going to be really high-strung, wound up, excited about what it is that they're promoting, even if they don't really believe in it themselves. So these are the people who are always really juiced up, jacked up, and are really living a lie, and they really need to get themselves into that lying to themselves mode and be very kind of on the outside, appearing very enthusiastic and into this, but really behind the back that, they are, not behaving properly, not performing properly. They are splitting others, meaning they're dividing people into, this side and that side. They are breaking apart things that should be belonging. They will undercut people. They will undermine others. They will act and treat people poorly in order to sabotage. So when we look at that promotion or that type of narcissism, which can be overt or covert, or both, you can have tendencies to both. These are the people who want to always be put on a pedestal. These are the people who are so addicted to feeling like they are the best. They are number one. They are how they rank on the numbers. They are, more attuned to that. And whatever it is that they need to do to get there, they will do, even if it's exploiting, even if it's through a sense of entitlement, even if it's through, empathy impairment and not really, shortcutting corners. In other words, not really doing things above the table, and oftentimes these people are supported. The boss will be like, well, they got the numbers. That's all that matters. Well, it shows you a lot about the boss as well. But as soon as he gets brought down, that's when he really gets to, he really cares, when it really starts to impact his bottom line or his reputation or what people could know about him or his company or things of that nature. So when we talk about putting people on a pedestal, it's again looking at them through eyes of projection, not just even rose-colored glasses. You're now putting them, into the ranks of the wow and the, you are a superstar or whatever it is, title that they want to go by. They're this, they're that. I mean, oftentimes it's these superhuman qualities that they want to attribute to themselves, which oftentimes have nothing to do with reality. It has everything to do with appearances only. And, that is not a good environment or energy to be around, because it is based on a lie. If you've ever heard the tip of the iceberg, you've got the little tip of the iceberg, but everything underneath is really what has brought, that up. And, if you're only looking at the tip of the iceberg, it's all appearances only. This can only be there for so long. It can only carry them so far. It can only get them so far. In other words, something that's based on appearance only and is just going to fall out the bottom. There's no value, integrity. It's eventually going to give way. And that is something I firmly believe on, because, if you are promoting and always trying to, put something out there on a marketing and oftentimes it doesn't deliver or it's not all that it is, you're selling the sizzle rather than the steak. And eventually people are going to say, you know what, I need some steak here. You know, and then they're going to, or in your life energetically, you're going to feel like it's very vapid or empty or corrosive, meaning that they are corrupted, like a bad code on a website that just doesn't work. It just, things are going to always kind of be glitchy with them. Things are always going to spin out of control or be very dark or not be intuitive. It's not heart-centered, where the energy and the passion is taking place. In the heart, to connect from the heart, I believe, is really the number one paramount thing. I don't believe in the cerebral sizzle. I don't believe in selling the sizzle. I believe in, you know, more than that. I believe in giving people what they need. Even when the sizzle is not there. I mean, look at me. I'm in a throat, or I'm in a cervical collar right now, and I'm doing videos. I don't look good, or whatever. I haven't felt good or whatever, but I'm still putting out videos because I want to be there for people. So I feel, you know, that is my choice. And, but that is kind of like a little bit of difference where I like to operate, because to me, the pressure cooker that is, with those sort of covert narcissists, put people on a pedestal, constantly judging and evaluating them by their last deal or their last promotion, is like chasing wind. I mean, it's going to stress you out. It's going to burn you out. It's going to keep you hyper adrenalized. It's going to keep you always tense. It's going to have you to run on the stress hormones. And some of these people, I mean, they, you know, like back in the 80s with the big, you know, where people were in the stock market and, you know, living this lifestyle, or the drugs, or the cars, or the women, or the men, or the hotels, or the dancing. I mean, eventually those people are like, wow, like, I can't believe, you know, I want a real life now. You know, it's not always, you know, good material for life, because eventually it's all uncomfortable. It becomes force versus power. And these people who want you to put them on a pedestal, oftentimes that is what the covert wants you to do. And believing their illusions versus, you know, operating at the core. And to constantly deny the truth is a very uncomfortable thing. And if you swallow it again and again and again, eventually you will be in denial. In denial will actually absolutely have to give way to truth. Denial can only hold out so long when it'll become very glaring apparent to you that you need to make a change. And the sooner you can say, you know what, this is not good, this is not right, I'm out of here, I'm away from these people, I'm sick of this is not me, and I don't look up to these people anymore. They are actually not worthy of being looked up to, because I see the low integrity moves that they make, and I am a person of integrity, and I am not going to be marred by that, because they can cause people to betray themselves through the law of reciprocity, or mirroring them. If you're around these types of covert narcissists, eventually you're going to adopt a similar energy. In other words, you're going to be living, you know, reflecting back or incorporating that same facade type of life, where you have to go along with the crowd and you have to belong. So you have to adapt their false values, and you have to do, you know, like they do, or you will be at a loss of, you know, being an outsider, or you're not with the program, and yet you know the truth, and yet you are the hard worker, and yet you're doing what is required, and you might have the talent, but it is not looked upon favorably, because they are looking for the sizzle. And you're like, I think we should bring the steak, because, and like, let's cook the steak and it's going to sizzle, but we need to have some steak too, because, you know, you can't live on smells alone or sounds of sizzle alone. And so when it comes to this, again, these people who want to constantly want you to reflect back to them their greatness when they have not really earned it, or they seduced others to giving it to them. So you don't want to be a counter force to this force energy. You don't want to react. You don't want to give it that erroneous energy. You don't want to validate it. You don't want to process it. Because the meaning, oftentimes, they're like, look at the sizzle, look at what I'm doing. what I'm doing, and they want you to give meaning to it when there is no meaning there. So they want you to swallow the lie simultaneously, and yet you have to put the kibosh on it. You have to put the stop. No, I'm not seduced by that. You know, that lifestyle is not attractive. They can be what I call textbook attractive. The narcissist who is overtly narcissistic, very good looking, talented, the money, the band, you know, the looks, the this, I've got the hat, you know, they're just trying to be all glam, but they are not nice people. They are so shallow, you know, shallow as what? I mean, shallow as, I don't even know what to put it, but they are shallow as, I mean, I would say a swear word right now, but I mean, there is no substance to these people, and they are what I call textbook pretty. In other words, they look pretty on paper. They've got this hair or this smile or this, you know, figure or this car, or man can be textbook good looking, can have the beard, can have the hair, can have the, you know, whatever it is, the music or the job. They can be textbook good looking, but when you really know them and you really know their heart, they're not attractive at all. There's nothing attractive or beautiful about them. There's nothing admirable. They might have crowds, you know, they might be, I mean, I've known people like this, that they you know, might have huge followings on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and, you know, there's all this false, you know, propping of them up, and they have no substance. They're not entertaining. I don't like to be around their energy because it's so vapid. That's the word for me, which means they are so empty. They're not worthy of my respect because they have no regard for other people. It's just all about them. They want you to put them on a pedestal, and you know, I am not in, you know, I am not in the business of putting people on a pedestal. I mean, that is not what we are all here for. We're here to do whatever. It's not, I'm not here to lie to myself and prop you up. Like, I can relate to people, but I'm going to be here, you know, where if you always want to, no, thank you. So it takes bravery and courage to stay clear in your vision and know what's what, and to stop believing the lie, because you might have believed the lie for this amount of time, and then you're like, well, I'm going to start going with the truth right here, and the truth feels a whole lot better. And it's, you know, if you've lived in denial, it's time to break through that shell of denial and stop, you know, talking or relating with these shell people, because it's not so fulfilling, and it's okay. But oftentimes there's, as I talk in my videos, there's very specific industries or families or types of business which these people will gravitate to. The financial services, the music industry, the film industry, the Wall Street. I mean, you know, you're going to see a lot of these types all in one place. And so it's just like, you're going to always have this jockeying for, you know, back and forth for the alpha male, the alpha female. And, you know, oftentimes there's a lot of lack of integrity to get to that alpha position. You know, they're going to have to do something low integrity to get to their next level. They're going to exploit. They're going to live by entitlement. They're going to have empathy deficit. They're not going to care for others. They're not going to care for their big picture. So their ego is what's carrying them through. But eventually, you know, hey, you know, how many toys can you have? I mean, you know, if you're living like this and you have no conscience and you don't care that you're not doing the right thing, or you want to be put on this pedestal, you know, you're being propped up by too many other people. And why don't you learn to prop up yourself? I mean, to me, that's where it's at. If you prop yourself up and you can have your own perspective, you know, that is really key, because it causes you to tune into self-reliance and self-governing of your perspective, your emotions, your values, etc. And you don't have to compromise those when you're around these types of people, because oftentimes, as we discussed here on the channel, when you're around these fake types, they cause you to betray your own inner self. They cause you to betray your own inner values. Go along with them because, hey, you don't want to seem different. You just want to be one of the crowd and in with them and supporting them. You know, that takes a lot of energy, and that does not make one happy, and happiness will be depleted. You'll feel very, you'll know when you're around these people, and when you leave, you feel very alone. You feel more alone after you got together with them for fun than before you went in, because they just take your energy away. All they are is taking all your positive energy and your glow, your smile, your support, whatever it is, and they're just, keep me on my pedestal. Oh, good. It's, it's 50 stories in the air now. Oh, great. I've got my name on top of this building. Look at me. But yet the truth of perhaps of what these people have done, or you've seen and you've known, where they're, false, in other words, say one thing to your face and do another behind your back. These people are not to be trusted, not to be believed, and I would recommend getting an exit strategy if you're, around these people who constantly need to be put on a pedestal to be made special. It's your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.